I was wondering how Virgin handled attribution.
You actually picked up the slight flaw in and it was completely legal, kind of, in that they did attribute. There's some debate as to whether or not they attributed enough, and I've written a book chapter where I say I don't think they did. What they did is that down in the bottom of the attribution clause in the Creative Commons license, in the legal code, this bit actually says that you can do whatever is reasonable to the medium, but ideally what you have is the title of the author, obviously, the name of the author, the title of the work, a link back to the work, and a link to the license. The two most important ones are the link to the license and the name of the author, because the link to the license is very important so other people know they can reuse the stuff. What Virgin did is that they put down in the bottom corner of their billboards, they had a link that was the name of, a link to the profile of the photographer on Flickr. So that link contained the name of the username of the photographer in it. It was just a link through to it. But the reason why I don't think that was quite enough is because A, it didn't actually tell you the name. Like, somebody has to be literate enough in computer jargon to work out, and with Flickr to work out that that's the name of the author. B, if you go to that profile, while you get to see instantly who the person is, you can't re-find that photo because, well, maybe you can if they don't have 2,000 photos up on their Flickr account, which of course a lot of people do, stuff. And, the final one and most important one, it didn't mention the Creative Commons license, and that's actually required by the license. That's really a strict thing, and that's all about making sure that everybody else knows they can reuse these photos and stuff. So yeah, so actually Virgin didn't do the best job of attributing, but a good site, I've forgotten their name. There's a really good site that does maps with photos next to it, and they get these off Flickr and stuff like that. And they have, I just can't remember what it's called, but they've picked up almost the best way. And actually, I'll show you on Flickr. But no, that doesn't sound right. But I'll show you on Flickr itself. Where's the? Oh, no, not that one. Oh, I know what I want to do. Flickr's got quite good ones. We'll just click on a random photo. Ooh, that's got fruit and vegetables. So you can see down there, that's how they kind of mention the licenses. And if you just kind of did something like that with the name of the author above it, you'd pretty much think. And you can often make the name of the author a link through to the photo itself or to the author's profile or whatever. This is a link to the license, and you're done. It's nice and neat and small, and you don't have to worry. That kind of thing. Other questions? Mm-hmm.
So this relates to, though, how you attribute in different forms. So at the end of a video, for example, attributing within the credits of video is acceptable.
Yeah, you can. It specifically says you attribute in the most appropriate means for your medium. So if you're doing a video, you put in the credits. If you're doing a streamed radio show, then you mention it at the end and maybe have something on your website, a program list on your website, that kind of thing.
How might you do it in like a music video where credits?
Well, I mean, what they're kind of tending to do on TV at the moment is put it along the bottom and stuff like that. How they say, this is a song by blah, and that available from blah, and that kind of thing. So that's a good option. Or else you stick a couple of credits on the end. It can just be a single splash screen. The Creative Commons actually has splash screens that you can download. It has a whole lot of really useful tools and stuff. Not always best arranged as they could be, but it's all there. And that includes some, pre-done splash screens for each of the licenses and stuff like that you can, use nice and easily. Mm-hmm. Your other questions?
At the end of a video, for example, would you have to provide a link to the licensed work and to the work itself?
The ideal thing would be to have basically the name of the author, title, and then Creative Commons, the name of the license, and then the link to the website you got it from, if you got it from a website. That's probably the ideal one. You're right. I don't know if I'd put in the link to the video. There's some question to the license. Put in the link to the license. Though I shouldn't be encouraging you that way because honestly, the way the licenses are written at the moment, there's a potential that you actually have to have that link there. So try to put the link in if you can, even if it's at the end of the video. Of course, most people are going to be watching a video online now anyway, so it makes sense to have a link in there because they can, copy and paste that just the same as other things, often, depending on what you're using. But for instance, Children of Men. People remember the film? Yep. They used a Creative Commons licensed screen. Yay, it was very cool. And it was a nice blood-curdling scream from this great website that I love called Freesound, which is probably the best place to get sound effects. Very useful for you guys. The other days we were looking up camels, the noises camels make, and it's amazing how much noise camels can make. This is with 10 to 12-year-old girls. Freesound. Yes, there are handouts here that have info on Creative Commons and the sites. And sites that you might want to go to and stuff like that. But let's see if we can go. w.freesound.org.
Volcano chart explosion.
So yeah, these have a lot of information and websites and stuff you might want to go to. So they're a good place to start. Oh yes, I know I've opened a new tab. Yeah, freesound.org. But they used a screen from Freesound, and the way that they did it is that they basically had the name, the title, and then they had the freesound.org underneath it. And I actually think that that's a pretty good way of doing it, like a link to the website itself rather than to the actual work, because some links can get really long. You just use your judgment in the particular case in hand.
It might be okay just using a whole body of images, for example.
Yeah.
Is it okay to just have the one link for all images all from?
The way we've tended to do that is that we've grouped them by license. So we've said, had a heading that said, the following images are under this license, and then we've had the name, the link, the name and title and stuff, and then we have still had a link to the actual page if it's not too long and stuff like that. It makes it so much easier. As us who people who are using Creative Commons all the time, it's so much easier to. If you see a cool photo, if you have a link straight away. Like, it's really frustrating if you go to Flickr and you're trying to find a particular photo and you're allowed to use it, but yeah. So it's better if you can have the links in there. I really encourage you to. But you can use your judgment. It is flexible,